Welcome back. Today's Thursday TTS Daily with me, Yi. We have a story from Malaysia first of all. Oh man, a man got unalive, and the reason for the unaliving, it's conflicting, two different sources. And then follow up by Haidilao Singapore closing their flagship outlet. Interesting. I thought business was booming in the F&B industry. Next up, we have an update on the man who created in-home K-pots in Singapore. A little bit of background story and you'll be the judge. I mean, we will just absorb the context. And lastly, the last story is so ridiculous that I actually had doubts and I want to ask your opinion. Could this really happen? Anyway, let's kick things off. A 28-year-old man, Muhammad, was allegedly poked and unalive outside his home in Senawang, Negeri Sembilan, Malaysia. The suspect is a 31-year-old man who was apprehended by the victim's younger brother and residents nearby and tied up until police officers arrived. So this poking, apologies, we have to use the term poking. The poking occurred around 6:50 p.m. on August 11, 2025, with the victim pronounced deceased at 7:28 p.m. by medical officers. The victim was poked in the chest with a sharp object, as confirmed by the Seremban District Police Chief. This story has different sources, allegedly with different reasons for what could be the cause of this unaliving. So a bit of background, Muhammad was a single father, recently engaged and was planning to remarry within the year. He has also just returned from taking his child from a walk and was also preparing to buy wedding gifts as he was planning to remarry like later that night or the next day. And during the time of this incident, the poking incident, Muhammad's younger brother was actually present during the assault. The younger brother, Hakim, reported that the suspect approached without speaking, poked the victim and attempted to flee but was restrained by Hakim and other fellow neighbors. The family has a total of 10 siblings who were at home and so were their mother, the mother who fainted upon seeing the victim's condition. So the motive is currently under investigation, but initial police reports suggest a misunderstanding between the suspect and the victim. However, there is sources that allege that the suspect poked the victim over an affair with the suspect's wife, leading to a violent confrontation. However, we are leaning towards more on the account of the victim's younger brother who was present, who said that first, the suspect approached without speaking a word, while other sources say the poking happened after a verbal confrontation. And also the victim's younger brother, Hakim, has said that his older brother is recently engaged and planning to remarry soon, even planning to buy wedding gifts that night or later that day, the next day. So, between these two different sources, alleged sources, I would say we would lean more to believe on direct context from the victim's family, like in this case, Hakim, the younger brother. The victim's family also claimed that they did not know the suspect and the victim has no known enemies. The case is being investigated as murder, with the suspect remanded until August 18, 2025. Police are urging the public to provide any relevant information. So, what do you think? Wow, how the mighty has fallen. Okay, jokes aside. But Haidilao's flagship Singapore outlet at Clarke Quay will be closing on August 31st due to lease expiration. Members were informed via text message on August 13, 2025. Surprisingly, why do they not want to continue the lease? Anyway, the outlet was opened in 2012, was Haidilao's first in Singapore, introducing Chinese hot pot to locals. Wow, looks like even F&B giants like Haidilao is literally Haidilao. They should be like one of the biggest F&B giants in the world, okay? Are closing their flagship stores. F&B is really going through a lull moment right now, okay? More and more businesses are closing this year compared to previous years. Haidilao has described this outlet as significant with fond memories for team and guests, but sadly, they will not be extending the lease. So I wonder who will be the new flagship store now. And they plan to continue serving Singapore. I mean, they have a ton of outlets in Singapore still, okay? Even though this follows closure of 3 suburb outlets of Haidilao in Bedok, Pasir Ris and Punggol. We are already in August and we all know that Even as business owners or consumers, we know that this is a year of survival. Everybody is tightening their purse strings. Even us at TTS Daily, we love Haidilao, okay? The food there is great. We believe they have a sound concept, okay? They're able to deliver high quality food at great cost savings. But the thing is, even for us and everyone else, we're all tightening our purse strings. We're now all looking into other alternate cost savings, when we're eating. I think most of us are now eating in at home instead of out. And they have discussed that this decision was driven by labor costs, outlet location and rental costs. Wow, rental costs really matters a lot. And also labor costs, by the way, because manpower turnover is so high and they are not exactly easy to replace, mind you. And now Haidilao will focus on optimizing resources and expanding menu offerings. Yep, the marketing term to use right now is strategic restructuring. So let's see if, F&B giants such as Haidilao are also, closing outlets and even their flagship stalls. How about the smaller players, the homegrown businesses in Singapore? Because, F&B giants like Haidilao can be considered as anchor tenants, and anchor tenants allegedly may have preferential, tenancy agreements. Allegedly, we do not know, of course. I'm just saying if the big boys are also scaling down, what happens to the homegrown businesses, The homegrown businesses have smaller capital to really withstand this survival period that we are going through now. Yeah, times are not easy. Okay, we have an update on the man who manufactured K-pots in his Yishun home, okay? Muhammad Akil Abdul Rahim, 41, has pleaded guilty on August 13, 2025 to manufacturing and selling illicit e-vaporizer pots containing Etomidate at his Yishun flat, marking Singapore's first prosecution for Etomidate lace vapes. And how he was caught, now we have more context. So apparently on December 11, 2024, a delivery man discovered vape pots in a package outside Akil's Yishun unit and reported it to the police. Shout out to this delivery man. This was on December last year, This was before all of us were so alerted to the dangers and harms of Etomidate lace pots. So really shoutouts to this delivery man, And that led to a subsequent search which uncovered over 500 empty pot casings, over 1,400 pot covers, 100 loose vape pots, disposable vapes, and 26.4 grams of Etomidate powder. That was sufficient for 72K pots. Akil has now admitted 3 counts under the Poison Acts for possessing and selling Etomidate, and 1 count under the Passports Act for lying to obtain a new passport, with 4 additional similar charges will be considered during sentencing. A bit of context on how he managed his operation. So Akil mixed e-liquid with Etomidate powder and injected it into pots using a syringe and sold 100 pots per order. He was apparently recruited by a man named Joe in Johor Bahru in October 2024 who provided materials and customer contacts. Viewers have been telling us we should always inform the public who are not informed. What is Etomidate? Etomidate is a fast-acting anesthetic. It's a regulated poison causing nausea, muscle spasms, breathing difficulties, seizures, and psychosis when used as an e-vaporizer. Etomidate itself is a local anesthetic agent that should only be administered under medical settings. And vaping is illegal in Singapore. And the issue with Singapore right now is K-pots, which are Etomidate lace vape pots. Okay. Take note, Singapore is moving very fast to classify Etomidate as a Class C substance under the Misuse of Substance Act. Akil's sentencing has been adjourned to August 26, 2025. He's looking at up to 2 years in jail or a Singapore $10,000 fine or both per charge for selling a poison without a license under the Poisons Act. And if he would have been caught after the reclassification, he would potentially be looking at up to 10 years jail, a 20,000 Singapore dollars fine, even possibly caning, or all included. Could it be possible if the sentencing be applied retroactively for an offence committed before the reclassification? That possibility is unlikely and rare. It was supposed to be a happy family reunion until her husband started showering with his sister. Yes. This is your last story of the day. Follow us for more. Okay, shocking news. So this woman with a husband who is in his 30s has a younger sister. But the younger sister was always been away in Australia, and recently the sister came back to Malaysia to visit them. And, she always knew that her husband has a good relationship with his younger sister. But she was shocked one day when she saw both of them coming out of the shower together. And when she asked her husband in private, but her husband said that he has always been showering with his younger sister since young, and it's nothing weird. It's just family bonding, and she should not take things in a wrong manner, and even offered to his wife whether she wants to shower together with his younger sister so that they could bond together better. Upon reading this story, my first initial thoughts was, as shocking and unbelievable as this is, sure, there is a possibility that this man in his 30s is still showering with his younger sister. We don't know how the social dynamics of how families work all over the world. Maybe it really is possible, but the moment in the story he offered his wife to shower with his younger sister, that is when I'm thinking, okay, no way this is real. I am starting to doubt the authenticity of this story right now. Does this mean if the sister is married, she would also offer her husband to shower with her older brother? Is this how it works right here? Is this how they think? Because his reason for showering with his younger sister was because they have been showering together since young together. How does it matter that his wife now has the right to shower with his younger sister just because he has been showering with his younger sister since young? How does this even work out? How does the logic even work out right here? Yeah, so I was really wondering about the authenticity of this story. I went checking the source, reading the comments. Even though the comments are in Chinese, I'm just going to briefly translate some of them because it seems that I wasn't the only one that was really doubting this story. The first comment, why does it feel that this story is kind of made up? The second comment was, editor, has nobody been submitting articles recently? And the replies from this were even more hilarious and golden, okay? Someone replied, friend, don't be too picky. The editor has really removed articles where they're talking about family members who do number 1 and number 2 together. I have unfollowed. The third reply, if I'm gonna write an article, I'll make it more believable and logical. And the last reply here, was he watching some kind of film while writing this story? Not sure what the A here means, but I think it could be anime.